Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Midoriya Izuku. Now Midoriya is an absolute sweetheart, and he's always willing to do something to make you happy one way or another. But seeing you get injured because of your carelessness, that was something he did not want to see happen at all. Not because he didn't care about you or didn't have the time to do so. He just didn't want to see you get hurt for something silly, especially when it could be avoided. But you just were not careful most of the time, and he, as your lover, had to suffer through this and see you get hurt for the most mundane reasons. Seriously, Ryan, you should have been more careful. Well, I was trying to be. Really, he said, but he was not convinced. Instead, he just rolled his eyes at you and picked you up. You didn't need to be picked up at all, and no matter how much you insisted, you were just fine. Midoriya continued anyway, giving you a kiss on the forehead. But what if I want to pick you up, Ryan? I love you. Please, let me spoil you like that. And blushing, you nodded, deciding to let him. It couldn't be so bad after all. He was everything you could have ever wanted. And right now was the amount of love he was giving you. You couldn't help but want more and more. So, even if it means he's going to worry like a mother hen sometimes, you're not really too upset about it. Unless he worries really, really bad. During those times, you would have to tell him that you're just fine, and that a tiny small injury will not be the end of the world. And though it takes a lot for him to calm down usually, it will be enough, because you would be able to see that you're alive and well and more than fine. You just have to show him. And hopefully, sometime in the future, he will stop worrying so much. But now, take advantage of what you have and make use of how adorable he can be. Todoroki Shoto. Todoroki worries about you a lot. In fact, he worries about you even from himself. Perhaps most of the time he's worried about hurting you himself. He's so scared that he's not gentle enough for love, or that he may be rough with you in the way that he held you, or maybe you could activate his quirk on accident, though that never happened before, or anything. It terrifies him. How you could be so easily hurt, and how you still trusted him nonetheless. It terrifies him because he saw how his mother and father were, and he never wants to end up like them. The possibility itself scared him to death. The fact that you could end up with someone as rotten as his father, that alone was terrifying, more than anything else. But you would have to tell him that it's fine. And he is incredibly gentle, because when he finds out that you scraped your knee, and all because you fell, he would pick you up and worry over you. Are you sure you can walk, Mayan? Yes, I am. Just put me down. And looking at you for a little bit, he hesitates, then still carries you all the way over to the couch and tells you he just needs to clean it up. And he would ask to bandage it when you would really have to insist. That was not all that much. Truly, there was nothing for him to worry about. Barely an injury in the first place. And you knew you would only be able to feel it just slightly. And within the next few hours, you will have forgotten about it for the most part. And looking into your eyes and the way you insist that you're perfectly fine, Todoroki can't really deny it. And he knows you're telling the truth. So he just leans forward, presses a kiss to your cheek, and apologizes for not catching you. Oh, Shoto, you can be such a sweetheart. But I promise you, you've got nothing to be sorry for. Alright? You say gently, and he nods, kissing you. And that was that. He does not worry too much after reassure him, and all he needs sometimes is just a light kiss from you. Bakugou Katsuki. Now, Katsuki seems like the person who wouldn't care about anyone, or anything for that matter. But, believe me when I say, he cares a lot more than he shows. He loves you. He wants you to be well and happy and fine. So the idea that you would hurt yourself just because you were so careless, it struck him in the wrong way. He just didn't like it. The way you could be so careless with something so important as your own safety and well-being. He did not tolerate that. You were important, and surely you had to see that. And if you didn't, then he was going to make you see it very clearly. And that's why, when you tripped, because you were not paying attention holding your phone, he took it and put it away. Hey, Katsu, what are you doing? I want to talk to you. Well, just hand me back my phone then. You can't just take it from me like that. I want you to pay attention to me. And pay attention to yourself. It was just an accident. I'm fine. Well, would you have been fine if you were on the street? Well, I wasn't on the street. We're in the damn garden, Katsu. And though you had a point, he had a million more. Telling you that just because you were somewhere that was mostly safe, it didn't mean you could walk without looking around you. You had to have some care for yourself, some self-preservation. And after much insistence and lecturing from him, you kind of decided that maybe he was right, even if he was overreacting. He just wanted to prevent something in the future, to prevent a further injury, or something even worse happening. You truly understood his perspective, you just don't want to be the one in the wrong. And you would not admit it. Regardless, it all calmed down in the end. And after you listened to him, and ended up admitting that you were wrong about everything, he had just calmed down and gave you a kiss, telling you he loves you, and that's why he gets so worked up about you. And you get it, because you'd feel the same way for him, even if it was just a light injury. So maybe he was not overreacting at all, and maybe it's just because the two of you are new in this relationship. You would never truly know.